Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Saturday, April the 24th. We got a 6-game Saturday slate to break down. As always guys, we're going to take a first look at this slate, go through each game and talk about each team. I'll give you guys my early thoughts, what does stand out to me looking at this slate on Friday night. Before we do get started with the breakdown though, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button down below. As always, I do appreciate the likes, and if you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. Now, I won't be able to live stream this afternoon. I won't be able to stream on Saturday, but maybe I'll be back for a stream on Sunday. That's to be determined. Regardless, though, I'm still going to give you guys my early thoughts. What I'm liking on the slate, what does stand out to me. So, yeah, guys, before we get started, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I do always appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game of the night. We'll start off with Detroit and Indiana. On the Detroit side here, looking at the Pistons, I would say that the Pistons are probably like the least appealing team on the slate. They're pretty much fully healthy. Jeremy Grant is probable. He is expected to play for today. Corey Joseph is probable as well. Mason Plumlee's off the injury report, so he's going to play. I really don't like any Pistons today. There's going to be some shorthanded teams. The Rockets are going to be insanely shorthanded today. Denver is likely to be without Will Barton, who got injured on Friday. So Denver could be shorthanded as well. The Pacers remain shorthanded without Sabonis, without Turner. I just don't think I'm going to roster any Pistons on this slate. If I had to play anyone from Detroit, it probably would be like Jeremy Grant, maybe Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee did have a really good game in the last game that he played in. He did play 32 minutes, had 44 DK points. The minutes have kind of been all over the place for Plumlee. Normally, him and Stewart are going to split the center minutes. Normally, you only get like low 20s minutes from Plumlee. If he does play like 30 minutes, though, he could definitely be a really good option at 4,900 that goes very overlooked. He's going to be super low owned. If you want to take a shot on him, I guess I don't mind it, but there's really no standout plays from Detroit today. This is probably one of the least appealing teams on the slate, just in my opinion. Now, on the Pacers side, this is where a lot of my interest is coming from in this game. We know that Sabonis and Turner are once again going to be out for Indiana. And then Jeremy Lamb, Goga Batadze, and Doug McDermott are all questionable, I believe. Lamb is questionable. I know Goga's questionable. I saw that pop up earlier on Twitter. And then I think McDermott's questionable as well. Yeah, all these guys are questionable once again. So last game they played, all of Lamb, Goga, and McDermott were out. We saw, O'Shea Brissett have a massive game last game. He started at center in place of Goga, played 42 minutes in regulation, and had 51 DK points. I'm assuming that Brissett starts regardless. He'll probably start at power forward if Goga plays. If Goga does not play, then they'll just slide Brissett down to center. Regardless, I think Brissett's one of the best value plays today. His price tag didn't really move that much at 4,200. Now, obviously, can we expect Brissett to play 42 minutes again and have 51 DK points? Obviously we can't expect that to happen again. But at 4,200, if he plays anywhere over 30 minutes, he's very likely to pay off this price point. If he was like 6K today, I probably wouldn't be going there. But at 4,200, it's really hard to ignore O'Shea Brissett just with how shorthanded this Indiana team is. After he had such a good game last game, it's very likely that they give him big minutes once again. Even if Jeremy Lamb and McDermott and Batadze all play, sure, they'll have more bodies, Indiana will, but I'd be surprised if Brissett doesn't play, 30-plus minutes again after he had such a good game last game. So I think Brissett's the first guy that really stands out from Indiana. He's a guy that I like a good amount on both sides. He got priced up a little bit on Yahoo, but even at $16, I still think he stands out as a really strong play on Yahoo. Then at the top, Brogdon and LeVert, I talked them up pretty highly last slate, and we saw both of them have big games. Brogdon played 39 minutes, had 61 DK points. Caris LeVert, he played 41 minutes and had 52 DK points. Just without Sabonis and without Turner, these are going to be the two guys that dominate the usage. The Pacers ran a super tight rotation last game. I think they only played 7 guys. Maybe they might have played 8 guys, but you got heavy minutes for Brogdon and LeVert. Both those guys played massive minutes. Obviously, Brissett played a ton of minutes. TJ McConnell got a lot of run off the bench. He played 25 minutes. Justin Holiday, he wound up playing 32 minutes. This Pacers team, with how short-handed they are, they're going to be a team that runs a pretty tight rotation. Even if Lamb, Batadze, McDermott play, I don't think that really impacts Brogdon or LeVert that much at all. Even at 8,300 and 8,100, even though they did get priced up a little bit, there is 55, 60-point upside for both these guys on a nightly basis while Sabonis and Turner remain out. Like, these are just going to be the two guys that do everything for this team. So I like playing these guys again. They're definitely two guys I'm going to be looking to on this slate, Brogdon and LeVert, and I do like them a lot on Yahoo too. Brogdon went up a little bit in price, but $34 still has plenty of upside to pay off that price tag, and same thing with Karis LeVert, who is $33. Brogdon, LeVert, Brissett, love all three of those guys once again today. I do want to mention Goga, though. If Goga does play, I like him a lot at 4,100. I had a lot of interest in him last slate, before he got ruled out. Jakar Sampson, I guess this is worth noting. So Jakar Sampson was suspended last game. He will be back for today. I don't think that's going to, affect anyone really too much. Obviously, he probably will take some minutes away from Brissett. Like, Brissett's not going to play 40 minutes again, but I still expect we get at least like 25, 30 minutes from Brissett. Sampson, will probably get some run. There's a good chance that maybe they start Sampson at center if Goga's out, so that would make Sampson a decent value play. But if Goga plays, I do have a lot of interest in him at 4,100. He'll be another, good value from this Pacers team. Brogdon, LeVert, Brissett are my three favorite options, but if Goga plays, I like him a lot. If Goga's out, I think we can look to a guy like Jakar Sampson if he, winds up starting. But that kind of does it for this Pacers team, so we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Bulls and the Heat. So on the Bulls side today, I don't really see a ton that stands out from Chicago. If I had to play any Bulls on this slate, the first guy I'd be looking to would be Kobe White, 5,900. Like, Kobe White just continues to play really well. He's put up at least 30 DraftKings points in 4 of the last 5 games that he has started in. He only played 28 minutes last game, but he didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. He would have played more than 28 minutes had the game been close. It was a blowout. So we're going to get like 32, 34 minutes from Kobe White. Continues to play well without Zach LaVine. Continues to get a good amount of usage. Going to have the ball in his hands a good amount when he's on the floor. At 5,900, he's still someone I have some interest in from the Bulls today, but really there's no standout plays from Chicago outside of Kobe White. I don't think I'm really looking to anyone else on this Bulls team. Patrick Williams, he is currently probable, so he's expected to play. Yeah, I don't see much here outside of Kobe White. Vooch, I'm probably not going to be paying up for on this slate. There's just too many other guys I like. So we can go ahead and move on to the Miami side and talk about the Heat here. So this is a back-to-back for the Heat. Keep an eye on that. I assume everyone will play, but Miami, really just every team now. Like, we're getting to the point in the season. We're getting late in the season where literally on every back-to-back, like, there's a chance that guys wound up resting. Just assume that everyone plays for Miami, but don't be surprised if some guys get rested or something. But if everyone's in, I really don't see a ton that stands out from the Heat here. There's going to be a lot of value today, so you'll be able to pay up for multiple studs. If you want to pay up for Jimmy Butler, I don't mind it. If you want to pay up for Bam Adebayo, I don't mind it. But overall, this is not a game I have much interest in. My favorite play in this game is definitely Kobe White. Overall, though, I don't think this is one I'm going to be too heavy on. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about San Antonio and New Orleans. So on San Antonio here, looking at the Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, he was out there last game. He is currently questionable for today. This is obviously a very important injury to monitor, because if DeMar DeRozan does get ruled out, that does give a big boost to a guy like Derek White, gives a big boost to Dejounte Murray. Obviously, we saw Derek White have a massive game last game with both Murray and DeRozan out. I'd expect his production to definitely come back down a little bit more, but if DeRozan were to sit, that would give a boost to Derek White. I'd have some interest in him. I would prefer Dejounte Murray, though, over Derek White. Dejounte Murray rested last game, but he should be good to go for today. Really good matchup against the Pelicans. Pace-up spot here. The upside on Murray, we always know the upside is there, but obviously his upside is a lot higher if DeRozan were to sit. So I think if DeRozan sits, Dejounte Murray is going to be the first guy that I look to. It would give a little boost to Keldon Johnson too, but I don't think Keldon Johnson would be someone that really stand out to me. Rudy Gay is currently questionable too. If Rudy Gay sits, I guess that makes me a little bit more interested in Keldon Johnson. But if DeRozan does get ruled out, I assume that we probably see Lonnie Walker move into the starting lineup. Lonnie Walker did start last game with Murray and DeRozan both out. Played 33 minutes, had 26 DK points. He's super cheap, 4K. It's a good matchup. If Lonnie Walker winds up starting today, if DeRozan gets ruled out and Walker starts, I do have a lot of interest in Lonnie Walker as a value play. We got to wait and see if DeRozan plays or not. If DeRozan plays, I don't see a ton I really like from San Antonio. Maybe you could go to DeRozan, maybe you could go to Murray, but there aren't any standout plays to me from the San Antonio team. But if DeRozan does get ruled out, that does change a good amount. Makes me like Dejounte Murray a lot. Makes me like Lonnie Walker as a value play if he were to start. Derek White would also be viable too. But moving on to the New Orleans side and talking about the Pelicans here. So the Pelicans are not a team I have a ton of interest in today. Zion at 10,100. Again, this is a slate where we're going to have a ton of value. There's obviously, Houston is going to be so shorthanded today. There's some other teams that are going to be shorthanded. there's plenty of value. If you want to pay for Zion, you should easily be able to fit him in on this slate, but I don't know if Zion's going to be someone I really build around. At his price point, he just doesn't really feel like a guy I have to pay up for. I'd rather get to someone like Luka over Zion if I can. I'd rather get to Jokic as well. So those are guys I'm going to prefer over Zion today. Brandon Ingram at 8,800 just feels a little bit too expensive for my liking. Lonzo I haven't really been on recently. Lonzo had that stretch where he was playing really well when Zion and Ingram were out. But when Zion and Ingram are playing, Lonzo is just not a guy that I feel like I have to pay $7K for. We saw him have really good games, against Atlanta, against Houston. Those were games that Zion and Ingram were out in. But since then, Lonzo's definitely come back down to earth. Less than 30 DK points in 4 straight games. He's not worth 7,100. He should be like 6K, right now. So don't want to go to Lonzo. Really, I don't like it much from New Orleans today. Just not a team I have much interest in. So moving on to the next game, talking about the Lakers and the Mavs. So on the Lakers today, we did see Anthony Davis make his return last game. He's currently probable for today. He only played 17 minutes last game against Dallas. We have no idea how many minutes he's going to play today. I assume he won't play enough to be rosterable, so don't want to go to Anthony Davis. He was super cheap on Yahoo, though, last slate. He was $24. Today, he's $22. Keep an eye on it. If we can get like 25 minutes from Anthony Davis, he could actually be a pretty good play on Yahoo at $22. But I assume Davis will probably play only like 20 minutes, if that. He's probably going to be on a strict minutes limit for at least a few more games. So until he gets off that minutes limit, he's really not going to be rosterable. It's not even worth talking about him. But obviously with Davis back, that affects guys like Drummond and Schroeder. We still did see those guys have good games, though, last game. Drummond had a huge game. Finally, that big game we were waiting for from Andre Drummond, had 50 DK points in 31 minutes against Dallas. I was surprised to see Drummond play as well as he did with Davis, in the lineup, but we know Drummond has this kind of upside. He's obviously a guy that can score. He can, get a ton of rebounds. He gives you that 20-20 upside on a nightly basis. He can get defensive stats as well. It's the same matchup here that he just had a lot of success in. So Drummond's okay. Does he stand out as a top play today? No, but it was at least good to see him play well last game, even with AD, in the lineup. And then Dennis Schroeder also had a really good game last game. Played 38 minutes, had 47 DK points. Schroeder, I think, I don't think he takes as big of a hit with AD in. He's still going to obviously have the ball in his hands a lot. I think LeBron being out is huge for Dennis Schroeder, and we've kind of seen that. And with LeBron still out, Dennis Schroeder is definitely someone we can still look to roster. So he's in play for me at 6,900, but I don't think I'm considering any other Lakers today. Kuzma, I don't have that much interest in at his price point. I'd rather play Schroeder. KCP had a really good game last game, but do I want to pay $5,200 for KCP? Not really. He's questionable as well. There are a couple guys questionable from the Lakers. So Drummond and Davis, I believe, are probable. They're expected to play. I think Schroeder is probable as well. Yeah, Schroeder's probable, but KCP is questionable. Markieff Morris is probable, so he's expected to play. Marcus Saul, I don't think this even matters, but he's questionable. Really, KCP is the only questionable guy. Even if he gets ruled out, I don't think that really changes too much for me. So on the Lakers here, I think Drummond and Schroeder are the two guys I have the most interest in. Keep an eye on AD's minutes limit. If he can get like 22, 24 minutes, then he could actually be rosterable on Yahoo at $22, but I don't think we're going to get that from AD. He probably plays like 15 minutes again, if I had to guess, but we'll see. Probably wouldn't go to him anyway, but yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to the other side of this game, talk about Dallas here. So on Dallas, Luka at 11K, I think is, one of the best pay-up options on today's slate. I've already mentioned it. There's a lot of value today. It should be very easy to pay up for multiple studs if that's a route you want to go to. And this is a slate, Luka's not someone I've really been playing recently, but we don't have Giannis, we don't have Kyrie, we don't have, Tatum. A lot of these other studs we've been playing recently, we don't have Westbrook. You look at the guys above 10K, you got, Zion against the Spurs, who I've already talked about. I don't have that much interest in. You got Vucevic against the Heat. Don't really like that matchup. You got Towns in a tough spot against Utah. But then you got Jokic and Luka. And I think those are the two guys that really do stand out to me at the top. Definitely like Luka here against the Lakers. He did just play really well against the Lakers when they played last game. Had 58 DK points in 36 minutes. We're finally starting to see Luka play really well. He had that stretch of about 4 or 5 games where he really just wasn't doing much. He really wasn't great for his price tag, but he's looked like himself these last few games. 63 against New York, 61 against Sacramento, 62 against Detroit. At 11K, I think Luka is right up there with Jokic in terms of top pay-up stud option. Big news though on the Mavs side, Kristaps Porzingis is currently questionable. He did get injured in their last game and was not able to return. So if Porzingis winds up getting ruled out, I'm not exactly sure what they would do with the center minutes. I'd assume that probably Willie Cauley-Stein or or Dwight Powell would start at center. Maybe they start Boban, but I doubt they would. You know, if Porzingis does get ruled out, whichever guy starts at center between Powell, Kleber, Willie Cauley-Stein, they would definitely be viable options for cheap. I don't know if they would be like, you know, core options for me, but they'd at least be viable. We've seen, though, whenever Porzingis misses games, like they'll just split the center minutes up between, you know, all three of those guys. They're never, like, you never see Willie Cauley-Stein play massive minutes. You never see Dwight Powell play massive minutes. They'll give like 20 minutes to Cauley-Stein. They'll give 20 to Powell. They'll let Maxi Kleber play some at center. They'll maybe give a few minutes to Boban. I don't know if there would be any must plays from Dallas if Porzingis gets ruled out, but at least guys would become viable in that case. Overall, though, I think Luka's the clear standout play from the Mavs for me. He's the guy that I have the most interest in here. But moving on to the next game and talking about the Timberwolves and the Jazz. So on the Timberwolves side, like I really don't like anything on Minnesota today. You know, it's a shorter slate. You could obviously pay up for Karl-Anthony Towns. He should be one of the lower owned studs. So, you know, if you want to pay up for Towns just for the low ownership, you could go there, but obviously the matchup is tough against Utah. This game does have, you know, plenty of blowout potential. I just don't think I'm going to go to Towns on this slate. I'd rather play Jokic. I'd rather play Luka. Anthony Edwards in a tough matchup, I don't really like at 7,300. You know, he still has that upside in him that he can go for 40-plus DK points any night, but am I going to play Anthony Edwards on this slate? Probably not. Same with a guy like D'Angelo Russell. Russell did get up to 29 minutes last game. It is worth noting that, you know, his minutes are starting to increase. I assume at some point he'll move back into the starting lineup, but we don't exactly know. You know, they kind of, I'm pretty sure I saw a report that like they said they like playing him off the bench, but we'll just have to wait and see. If Russell does move back into the starting lineup and he's not on a minutes limit, then he would definitely be my favorite play from this Minnesota team and the guy that I would have the most interest in. But outside of that, I don't see too much I really like from Minnesota. Like Ricky Rubio at 4,800, it's just, I don't know, you know, we'll get probably 28, 30 minutes from Rubio. He never feels like a guy you have to have, though. Like, even if Rubio scores 28, 30 DK points, he's a decent play at his price tag, but not a guy that really is going to go out there and break the slate. With Russell back and Russell getting more minutes now, I just don't have that much interest in Rubio. So, really, Russell's the guy that I think stands out for Minnesota, especially if he, you know, moves back into the starting lineup. I'd like him even more. But on the Utah side, looking at the Jazz here, we do know that Donovan Mitchell is going to remain out for this game, so you know, guys like Mike Conley, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson, I think, do look somewhat appealing today. Are they standout options to me? Probably not. You know, there's other guys I'm going to prefer, but Conley in a good matchup against Minnesota in what is a pace-up spot, Mike Conley does have plenty of upside. You know, we've seen him be really productive these last two games without Donovan Mitchell. The only thing that's hurt him is just blowout. The Lakers game was a blowout. He only played 28 minutes. The Houston game was a blowout. He only played 25 minutes. But again, like 35 DK points in only 28 minutes, 42 DK points in 25 minutes. Like if we finally get 32, 34 minutes from Mike Conley here, if this game does stay close, I mean, Mike Conley has a ton of upside without Donovan Mitchell. We know he can go for 45, 50. He's put up big games before whenever Mitchell has missed. So I think Mike Conley is my favorite play from this Utah team. Joe Ingles obviously gets a bump without Mitchell. He's been starting, playing around 30 to 32 minutes. At 6,600, I think, you know, Ingles still has the upside to pay off this price tag, can still give you around 40 DK points and be a good play at 6,600, so I don't mind him either. You know, Jordan Clarkson's a bit risky just because he comes off the bench. He doesn't play as many minutes as those guys, but we know Clarkson's a high-usage player. We know he has a ton of upside too. I would put Conley and Ingles ahead of him, but Clarkson's viable as well. But I'm probably not considering any other Jazz on this slate. Gobert, he's an okay option, but I think there's going to be other centers I'd rather play. Like I'd rather pay up for Jokic. We're going to talk about Kelly Olynyk, who I like a lot today. So for me, Conley, Ingles, the two guys that I like most from Utah. But moving on to the last game of the night, this is by far the most important game of the slate. Two very shorthanded teams right now, two teams that are dealing with a ton of injuries. So on Houston, we already know that John Wall is not going to play today. He played on Friday. This is a back-to-back. They've already come out and said that John Wall is going to sit out. So John Wall is going to be out. And then we just got a report that Christian Wood, he was hindered by an ankle injury, and they said that he is not expected to play. So Christian Wood, not expected to play. John Wall already ruled out. Kevin Porter remains out. Eric Gordon, I think, is going to remain out. Sterling Brown's probably out. You know, Avery Bradley did not play Friday. He probably will play today, but who knows? And then DJ Augustine remains out as well. So Right now, Houston only has 7 active players. Kelly Olynyk, Jayshawn Tate, Daniel House, Armani Brooks, KJ Martin, DJ Wilson, Anthony Lamb, and yeah, I think that's it. Jeffries. Or Anthony Lamb, I don't think's on the team. Wait, let me see. I thought they only had 7 players. Olynyk, Tate, House, Brooks, Martin, Wilson, Lamb, Jeffrey. So they do actually have 8 available bodies right now. We don't know who's actually going to be in or out. We know Wood's probably going to be out. We know John Wall's going to be out. Kevin Porter we know is going to be out. Eric Gordon might play, but I doubt it. Sterling Brown I don't think is going to play. Last update we got on him was like a week ago, and he had some assault or something happen with him. So I'd be very surprised if he plays. The one guy that I think could play today is Avery Bradley. He got, ruled out with an illness Friday. I assume he'll probably play today, but who knows, honestly. There's a very good chance that Houston has the minimum 8 bodies. Like, Houston probably will only have 8 bodies today. I need to see who all played Friday. So let me check their rotation Friday real quick. I'm pretty sure they only played like 9 guys on Friday. So you had, obviously, Christian Wood and John Wall played Friday. Daniel House played 20 minutes off the bench. KJ Martin played 23. DJ Wilson played 5. And Jeffries played 13. So Anthony Lamb did not play Friday, but I'm pretty sure he's with the team. I'm pretty sure he's with the team, so he'll be active. There's a very good chance that Houston only has 8 bodies today. This is going to be a team that you have to, load up on. Just whenever you get scenarios like this where teams have, only 8 bodies, it just forces you to play these guys. You look, obviously Olynyk's kind of expensive, Tate's kind of expensive, but Daniel House is $4,500, and then everyone else under Daniel House is under $4K. The first guy, though, that stands out to me is Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk just, been so good with Houston this year. He's actually been way better than I thought he would be, especially playing alongside Christian Wood. Even playing alongside Christian Wood, Kelly Olynyk has still shown a ton of upside. He had a really good game again Friday night against the Clippers, 47 DK points in 34 minutes. I assume without Christian Wood that Kelly Olynyk probably will start at center. No Christian Wood, no John Wall. Kelly Olynyk the offense is going to run through Kelly Olynyk, and this is someone that has shown he can be very productive when he gets minutes. He's obviously a really good point per minute player. He's a guy that can score, can rebound, can get assists. He can do it all. I don't want to say he's a triple-double threat, but he's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Kelly Olynyk can put up 45, 50 DK points. So even at 6,700, I think Kelly Olynyk looks like probably my favorite play from this Rockets team. I just expect the entire offense to run through him. I like him a lot on both sites today. Super affordable on Yahoo. I think he looks a lot better over there. $20 on Yahoo, just way too cheap. Kelly Olynyk, easily one of my favorite plays on Yahoo today. Obviously I'm assuming that Christian Wood is going to be out, and since they said they don't expect him to play, I assume he will be out. But then Jae'Sean Tate, he should be way more productive without Christian Wood and without John Wall. Even at 6,100, I have a lot of interest in Jae'Sean Tate. Daniel House at 4,500, I think is a really good value play. He'll probably move back into the starting lineup. He stands out as a strong value. Armani Brooks, I assume, will start at point guard. He's basically their only healthy point guard right now because they don't have Kevin Porter. They don't have DJ Augustine. John Wall is going to be out. Sterling Brown doesn't seem like he's going to play. Eric Gordon doesn't seem like he's going to play. We literally might get 40 minutes from Armani Brooks. The matchup's not good, but 3,800, blowout proof. Literally, it's going to be really hard to get away from Armani Brooks here. The guy could probably, he might play the entire game just because they have no other point guards to be out there. I think Armani Brooks is probably the best value play on the slate right now. He's hard to get away from today for sure. 3,800 on DK, a top value for me. Prices went up a little bit on Yahoo, but even at $15, like I said, he's probably going to play around 40 minutes just because he's their last point guard available. He's a guy that I have a lot of interest in. He's probably my second favorite play from Houston next to Kelly Olynyk. But then KJ Martin, he should get probably 30 minutes off the bench. He's been a productive player when given minutes. At 3,600, I have a lot of interest in him as a value play. DJ Wilson, if he starts, I have some interest in DJ Wilson. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. I assume that Kelly Olynyk will start at center, but maybe they start DJ Wilson here. Who knows? DJ Wilson, though, should probably get 20-ish minutes off the bench. Without Christian Wood, he's probably going to be the backup center, if not start at center. If he does start at center, I think he's a great value play at 3,100. But I'm probably not going to Anthony Lamb or Jeffries. I think my main interests are, it's going to depend on what the starting lineup is, but I think my main interest from this Rockets team is going to be Kelly Olynyk, Kelly Olynyk and Armani Brooks, my two favorite guys. But then I have a lot of interest in Jae'Sean Tate. I have a lot of interest in Daniel House. I think KJ Martin's a good value. DJ Wilson, I'll have some interest in if he starts. I assume the starting lineup will probably be Brooks, Olynyk, Tate, and House will definitely be in there. And then, we'll have to, do they start KJ Martin? Do they decide to start DJ Wilson? We don't know. But, yeah, the starting lineup will be important. We'll have to wait and see who's actually going to be in or out for this Houston team. But right now, there's a good chance that Houston only has 8 available bodies. So this is going to be a team that you definitely want to load up on today. And I think I kind of broke it all down who I really have the most interest in. I guess Jeffries at 3K wouldn't be a bad option either. He's probably going to play like 20-ish minutes off the bench. Minimum salary, you could go to him too. But there's other guys from Houston I prefer over him. So that does it for the Houston side. A lot to talk about there, obviously, now on Denver. A good amount to talk about here as well. So Will Barton, he got injured. Sucks to see this Nuggets team just keeps getting killed by injuries, but Will Barton got injured very early in Friday night's game against the Warriors with a hamstring injury. He was not able to return. They ruled him out very quickly, so I'm going ahead and assuming that Will Barton will be out today. Very unlikely that he plays here on the back-to-back, so with no Will Barton, with no Jamal Murray, there's some guys that I do like from this Denver team. Now, obviously, Jokic is the clear top option here. Jokic, I think, is right up there with Luka in terms of favorite pay-up options for me. We've already talked about so many value plays today. It is very easy to pay up for Jokic and Luka if you want to go that route. Or if you want to go like Brogdon, LeVert in the mid-range and then pay up for a stud, you could do that as well. But I think Jokic, definitely my favorite stud option. The only issue I have is that obviously this game we don't have a line yet, but there's a good chance. Okay, so Denver right now is favored by 12.5. There's a good chance that line moves even more. Like Denver could wind up being like 15-point favorites here, but that's the only concern is that maybe this game blows out. But whether it's like Kelly Olynyk or DJ Wilson guarding Jokic, Jokic, he should just absolutely feast in this matchup. Like they don't really have anyone to slow him down. So I do like Jokic quite a bit. Obviously hard to not go there on a slate like this where we have so much good value. Michael Porter, though, I don't really like at 8K. Now, Aaron Gordon, I think, without Will Barton, I have a little bit more interest in Aaron Gordon. He's been really bad lately, but, at 5,500, the price tag has gotten to a point where I think he's definitely viable, especially now that, Will Barton is likely to be out. I want to see what Aaron Gordon's doing right now. So that game just ended, the Warriors-Nuggets game. It was kind of a blowout. Aaron Gordon only played 27 minutes, but he did have 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He was okay. Obviously not great, but I think without Will Barton, that does help Aaron Gordon a little bit here. So at 5,500, he's interesting to me. PJ Dozier, though, next to Nikola Jokic, I would say that PJ Dozier is my second favorite Nugget today. PJ Dozier did start the second half in place of Will Barton. He had a really good game. Let me see if Yahoo's updated the game log yet. So they haven't updated the game log yet, but I'm pretty sure PJ Dozier played like a ton of minutes on Friday. I'll check this real quick. But whenever Will Barton got injured, P.J. Dozier was the guy to replace him. P.J. Dozier, he played 29 minutes, had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. So he finished with around, like 25 DK points. He's 4,100 today. He's probably going to start in place of Will Barton if Barton is out. Another value play. There's a lot of value today, but with Barton likely to be out, Dozier is another value you can consider. So Jokic and Dozier, I think, are my 2 favorite plays from the Nuggets, but I do have some interest in Aaron Gordon too. And I don't mind MPJ, but he'd be like my 4th favorite Nugget today. So that really does it for all 6 games on this slate, guys. Should be a pretty crazy slate. There's going to be some shorthanded teams today. We're going to have to keep an eye on the injury report. There's a couple teams on back-to-back, so we can maybe see some guys get randomly rested or something. But I feel like I did a pretty good job giving you guys my early thoughts on this slate, what stands out to me looking at this slate Friday night. But I wish you guys the best of luck. Sadly, I won't be able to stream Saturday, but I might be back for a stream on Sunday to be determined. Regardless, I'll definitely have a video up for Sunday's slate. But yeah, good luck on this slate, guys. I appreciate you watching. I hope you did enjoy. Hit that like button before you do get out of here. Hit the subscribe button as well. And be sure to click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.